Hi everyone, and thanks for joining our Microsoft Build session, Real-Time Connectivity to Snowflake and Hundreds of Sources from the Microsoft Power Platform, using CData's Connect Cloud Data Connectivity as a Service. For anyone that isn't familiar, CData software is the real-time data connectivity provider with offices around the world and supporting a wide variety of customers ranging from a mom and pop shop that wants to look at their accounting data in Excel to enterprises that want to embed real-time connectivity into their own platforms and applications. In today's session, we'll be exploring CData Connect Cloud, CData's data connectivity as a service. CData Connect Cloud standardizes your connectivity in a single location, allowing you to access all of your data through a central hub. With nothing to install, you can sign up for CData Connect Cloud and get real-time access to your data in just a few clicks. In today's session, we'll be exploring how you can get real-time connectivity to all of your data from the Microsoft Power Platform, building an app in Microsoft Power Apps, building a visualization in Power BI, and then embedding the Power App in the Power BI dashboard for read and write access and visualization of your data. With the informational section of today's session out of the way, let's jump into the demo. Okay, so I think it's always good to start with the beginning in mind. So what we're going to showcase in today's session is building a dashboard with an embedded Power Apps app that provides connectivity to Snowflake, read and write connectivity, and visualization connectivity to Snowflake, and we're going to do that all through CData Connect Cloud. So as you can see here, we have this dashboard. It's showcasing some CRM information, the amount of each opportunity organized by both the state and the industry. So how do we do this? Well, it starts with CData Connect Cloud, and CData Connect Cloud is CData's data connectivity as a service offering. And from it, we can monitor our connections, but we're going to start by adding a connection to Snowflake. So we do that by going to the Connections tab, clicking Add Connection, finding Snowflake, and then at this point, we need to enter the pertinent information for our Snowflake account. So that's going to include our URL, our warehouse, our database, our schema, username, and password. So we'll enter all of that information in here, and then that'll get us connected to our Snowflake account. And again, CData Connect Cloud provides real-time bidirectional connectivity. So we're going to get read and write access to our Snowflake data warehouse through CData Connect Cloud, and we're going to enable that access to Power Apps and to Power BI in order to build this fully comprehensive dashboard that provides read and write capabilities to our Snowflake data warehouse. So we've entered all the credentials. We click Save and Test to ensure that the connection is configured properly. And now that we've connected, we know that we can access our data. So just to show that we are actually looking at Snowflake data, we're going to log into our Snowflake instance. So we'll go to the URL, the same URL that we're using to connect from Connect Cloud. So use the same username and password that we just used to connect, and we will browse through our Snowflake data warehouse. We have a very basic CRM setup. It's got a handful of accounts and then opportunities attached to each of those accounts. So you can see in here, we've got our demo database, and we can preview that data. And it'll show the 9 accounts that are available. You should see some recognizable names in there. And then we'll do the same thing for the opportunities. So again, we can preview it and we can see some familiar information in the amounts that we previewed before. And we'll scroll over and we can look at the names of these opportunities. And these are the same names that were surfacing in our Power Apps app that was embedded in that Power BI report. So now that we've demonstrated the connectivity, we're ready to start by building a Power Apps app. So we're going to go to Power Apps. We'll log in using our Microsoft credentials, and then we'll start building our app. And the way that we do that is by connecting through SQL Server. So in the cloud, CData Connect Cloud looks like a SQL Server database. On the back end, it's using CData's connectivity to talk to the variety of data sources. So we'll click Add Connection. We'll go through SQL Server. We're going to use SQL Server authentication. And then we need to know some information about our CData Connect Cloud instance. To find that, we can go to the Client Tools page on CData Connect Cloud and search for the client tool that we're working with. If you click the Connect button, a modal will pop up with the information that we need. And then to authenticate, we can either use a personal access token or PAT that we've generated previously, or we can generate a new one, which is what we'll do here. So we have a bespoke connector, a bespoke token that's available that lets us build this application. And this is useful because you can delete the token or revoke the token if you want to deny access from a given platform that you've generated the token for. We enter the SQL Server name, so tds.cdata.com, comma 143333. And we use that to authenticate. And then we need the name of our connection. So Snowflake 1 was the new connection that we configured. We're going to use my CData Connect Cloud username to log in, and then the PAT to authenticate. Once we've authenticated, it's going to query that connection to see the tables that are available. So we're going to go for the opportunity table that's part of the CRM schema and build an app based on that. So what's happening right now is that Microsoft Power Apps is querying all of the metadata from our Snowflake table that's in that schema, in that database, in that warehouse, in order to get information about the fields that are available from that table. And then it's going through the process of building this 3-page app. So this is going to be a 3-page app. It's going to have a gallery view, which lists all of the records that are available from that data source. In this case, these will be opportunities. It's going to build a detail view. So it's going to give us more information about a specific opportunity that we drill down into, and it's going to give us an edit view, and that's going to allow us to actually write back information to our Snowflake data warehouse from this app that we're building. So now that we've got the app built, it's populating it with data, but the data that it's presenting isn't exactly user-friendly. So Power Apps does its best to pick some data sources or pick some fields to visualize. These are not the fields that we want to visualize. So we'll just go through each of these items, the title, the subtitle, the body, and we'll change what field is being queried. I can easily edit these because I know the names of the fields, but if I didn't, I could go into CData Connect Cloud, into the Data Explorer to see the names of those fields and get that information, or even go into Snowflake and use the names of the columns. So you can see here I'm just using the concatenate command to make the visualization a little bit prettier of the amount for this specific opportunity. And then we're going to use the concatenate command again with the probability for each opportunity, just to add that % sign on the back end, just to make it a little prettier. If you ever have any thoughts or questions about maybe how you should visualize something, how you should build something, there is the Ideas tab. And so, it will use some intelligence based on what other people have done with their apps to help you design your app as needed. So that covers the browse screen, which is that gallery that I spoke about. At this point, we want to go into the detail screen, and a lot of the information that we have is information that's useful, but we've got this contact ID again, which appears to be empty. So we're just going to edit that out again. We're going to set it to be the probability. So just making our detail screen a little bit more friendly for maybe a rep that's out in the field that's pulling this app up on their mobile phone or on their laptop or a mobile device to be able to drill into the probabilities and the detailed information about this opportunity. We can do the same thing again where we use concatenate to create a more readable version, adding those symbols that we use for probability, the percentages, and we can do the same thing for the amount. If we wanted to include the $sign, so this amount field, this amount data card that we have, we just unlock it to be able to edit it. We use that concatenate command again to concatenate the $sign string onto the field so that when it gets displayed, it includes that in front of it. And so that kind of finishes our edits up for the detail form. At this point, we can take a look at the edit form. So, we'll go back over to our tree view. We'll click the edit screen. Again, we've got this contact ID. We don't really want that. We'll change it to the probability again. This is something that would be editable within our CRM from our reps that are out in the field. So we simply change this, name the field the probability, make the display name the probability, and then we pull the probability from the record that's being pulled from Snowflake. And at this point, we're ready to go. So we've got this browse screen, this detail screen, and this edit screen. So we can save the app. We'll just give it a name, Snowflake, Microsoft Build app seems appropriate for the demo that we're running today. And then once it's saved, we can publish it to our organization, and that's going to allow us to embed it in our Power BI visualization later. All right, so now that it's published and it's ready to go, we can open up Power BI Desktop, which is the default app for designing reports. So we'll just open it up, same window, and we're going to build that dashboard. So the great thing about CData Connect Cloud is that it is a single data connectivity as a service, a data hub, if you will, that allows for connectivity from a variety of clients. And because of our partnership with Microsoft, the CData Connect Cloud connector is actually embedded in the Power BI desktop app. It distributes with the app thanks to our partnership. It's a certified connector, so you can find it directly from the Get Data menu in Power BI. And because it's a default connector or an embedded connector, it uses a different interface. So it's actually going to give us access to the entire CData Connect Cloud instance. Before we can talk to CData Connect Cloud, we do need to sign in. This is just going to use OAuth. So I'm using my CData Connect Cloud username and then my actual CData Connect Cloud password, not a PAT, to connect here. So this is authenticating directly with the CData Connect Cloud service. I'm signed in, I'm ready, so I will connect. And then in the navigator, what you'll see are all of the connections that are configured for my CData Connect Cloud instance. You can limit the visibility there by limiting user access to different connections. But in this case, I have access to all of the connections. I'm specifically interested in this Snowflake 1 connection, and I want to visualize data that's in these account and opportunity tables. This is working through the same process that Power Apps had to go through. So Power BI is communicating with the CData Connect Cloud instance, which is then talking to Snowflake. It's getting the information about our Snowflake tables through the Snowflake API. So it's querying, it's getting the metadata, it's creating the data model. And then in this case, it's actually importing the data into Power BI. There are options for real-time, live, or direct query connectivity with CData connectors. But in this case, we have a smaller data set, so it makes sense to just import the data directly. Once the data is imported, we can go to the data model and define the relationships that exist between these two tables. So we know that each account has an ID and each opportunity has an account ID. So we can build that connection. We can see here there's a one-to-many connection. Each account may have many opportunities, which makes sense in the case of our CRM. And now we're ready to build that visualization that I previewed earlier. So we'll start with this heat map or chloropeth map, basically a map built on top of the location. So we're going to use the billing state, and this kind of fills in our map here. And then I'm curious about the sum of all of the amounts of our opportunities based on account, and so and then visualized by state. So we can see this here. We've got the tooltip, which is great, but the visualization isn't that compelling yet. What we need to do is we need to format the visualization itself and set how the states are filled. We're going to use the sum of the amounts, and instead of using a rule, we're actually going to use a gradient. So this will have the lightest color will represent the lowest amounts, and the darkest color will represent the highest amount. So you can see here, New York has the highest total amount of available opportunities, and Kansas and Texas are struggling behind, and then Arizona, California, Oregon, and North Carolina are sitting somewhere in the middle. So now that we've got this visualization, we should take a look at the sum of the amounts of each opportunity by company and industry. So we'll do the same thing. We'll select a visualization. We'll select the amount from the opportunity table, and then we're going to select the name of the account and the industry of the account to build this visualization. Because I have so few accounts, each industry only has one account tied to it, and we're ready to build the visualization. We've got this ready to go. At this point, we're ready to add our Power Apps app. So we click the Power Apps button in the visualizations, and then generally you would build a connection or build a Power app based on the connection that you've used in Power BI. Because CData Connect Cloud is acting as the connection hub for both, we're actually going to use that pre-built app that we used before. So we don't actually have to build the app again. So instead of going to the Power Apps Studio to build the connection and build the app, we're just going to import the app that we just built, the one that we were messing with before. Because it just got imported, it's got to import all of the data into itself, so it's reading it. But you can see here that we've got the same kind of information available. And what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate the write back capabilities from this app and how that can demonstrate or how that can change the visualization once you refresh it. So let's say my rep mistyped this opportunity. The amount is completely different than what was expected. So we're going to go in and change that amount. And once it goes back to the detail screen, we'll know that the amount has been updated in Snowflake. And then Once we know that update has happened, because it's done a read after the write, we can refresh our visualization, and that's going to update our visualization in Power BI in order to show this new data that's come in, this change that's come in. So if you're in a situation where maybe you have reps out at the field, you're hosting an event or attending an event like Microsoft Build, and you want to track the number of leads that are coming in, maybe sorted by industry or even with amounts. If you have a very active sales team, your reps could be entering opportunities, updating opportunities in the Power Apps app that is embedded in the visualization, and then they simply have to refresh the visualization in order to get the new data, get the new report. So at this point, because what was a $150,000 opportunity is actually a $5.1 million opportunity, we can see that the electronics industry has jumped up, the Texas state has jumped up. And what's great about this is because everything is being connected through CData Connect Cloud, I can publish this report to the Power BI service because the connectivity all resides within the cloud. There's no need to use a gateway. So once I publish this report to the Power BI service, I can access it from the web. So I don't even need Power BI desktop. I could be on an iPad or some other mobile device and log into the Power BI service from that device, use that device to visualize my data, to update my data in real time, and see those updates change the visualizations in real time. So we get the same kind of functionality that we did from the desktop app, but now it's just all in the cloud. It's all web-based. No need for any kind of gateway, no need for any kind of installed connector. And then with the Power BI service, you can set up the connector to refresh automatically. So you can set it to refresh, every hour, every day, every week, whatever your need is, in order to track the changes that are happening in your backend data, wherever it is. So, we'll demonstrate that write back capability here again from the Power BI service. Again, we can say, oh, actually, no, the rep was right the first time. It wasn't a $5.1 million opportunity. It was a $150,000 opportunity. So we're going to make that change here and demonstrate the same kind of thing. So we'll make the change, and then we actually have to go into the menu, into the Power BI service menu to adjust the data source, to refresh the data source itself. And then we can come back to the report, refresh the report, and then the visualization will change based on the changes that we've made using the Power Apps app that was embedded within our Power BI report. So that's kind of the rundown of using CData Connect Cloud to connect to Snowflake and then enabling access to that Snowflake data in real time from Microsoft Power Apps and Power BI at the same time, thanks to the ability to embed your Power Apps app into a Power BI report. So now you get reading and writing data all from the same report, all on the Microsoft Power Platform, which you have come to know and to love. And you can leverage this connectivity and leverage these app building capabilities and these reporting capabilities to gain insights, to drive business, and help your business meet its goals. If you're ready to take the next step in your real-time connectivity journey, you can get more information at cdata.com. Any questions you have can be directed to sales@cdata.com. You can sign up for a free trial of CData Connect Cloud at cdata.com/cloud, and you can join our real-time community at community.cdata.com. Thanks for joining, and enjoy the rest of Microsoft Build.